Hello everyone, welcome to MinseyCrafts. I am Minna and I am your host on this channel. This is my knitting vlog and I share with you my latest project updates. In today's episode 3 I actually have quite a few updates to tell you about, and I would also like to give a special thanks to all my viewers and subscribers. You make this happen. Thank you. My first update is on the snood. I have now blocked it, and unfortunately it stretched a little bit in the process, and it kind of sits, feels a little too large now actually, and I'm thinking that I might just try to felt it a little bit, do like a hand felting. I don't trust washing machines anymore to felt anything. I had an incident where something washing machine felted went horribly wrong, and so this is how it looks like right now, and if I show it to you from the side, this is how it looks from the side. I'll show you also how it would look like if I wear it inside out and then fold over the edge, and this actually looks quite nice. I quite like this like this. So just would like to get it maybe just a tiny bit smaller, but I think it is getting there. It's one of those rare sunny days here in the northeast of England. My knitting nook window is west facing, and I'm filming this in the afternoon. And the sun is just straight coming in here. You can see that this is very sunny right here. So I will have to make some changes with my curtain here. My first ongoing project update is on the hat, the matching hat for the Rei snood. And you may remember from episode 1 that this color is called Imagine. So from the snood, I figured out for my tension to be 50 stitches, and also I'm now knitting this in the circular, so I had learned something from my first mistakes, and so I cast it on 50 stitches because it's divisible by 10, which is the pattern repeat for this pattern. And I did, despite all that, I did have some issues with the tension. So I started off with 10mm needles. That was way too loose hat, and then I went down to 9mm. That was still a little bit too loose, and then I went down to 8mm. So again, having learned from my mistakes with the snood, this time I cast it on using the knitted method, which held the twist in the yarn much better. And also it was I was able to then rip it up, and the yarn didn't, at least after the first time, it didn't seem to mind it too much. After the second time I did notice that there was a little bit of like a fluffy looking texture that was appearing into it, so I was hoping that that was the last time I had to do that. And yes, that was correct then. So I also had to really read the pattern, because you see there is a fold in the hat like this, and based on how I was reading the pattern, it was not obvious that how you'd be knitting it, the fold would have the right side like this on it out front. And so I had to also modify the pattern a little bit. And as far as I know, I'll show you also from the picture. So this is how it looks in the picture. You can see that it's the purl 2 knit 8 on the front there on the fold. So what I did was I started off the rib with the kind of like in the reverse, so knit 2, purl 8, and so on, and then I did the fold row, and then I kind of like reversed it back to the purl 2, knit 8 once again. So I think this is quite nice. It's I've tried it on, and it's a good size right now. And I also kind of wondered about if I should have knitted it with the size 10 and just reduced the number of stitches even further to like 40. But then I felt like it's going to be just, I'm not going to have enough pattern repeats. I think 5 is still acceptable. So that's why I went with this method. I happen to have a size 8mm needles in this 40 centimeter length, so that was very convenient, and I don't have to use the magic loop method with this. I am not super familiar with magic loop, if I'm completely honest. I've just yesterday watched the knitting podcast from Wool Needles Hands, and she was kind of saying that if you do need to modify your tension with by changing the size of your needles, it is not advisable to change it by more than going up or down by 1 size. And I know that I've gone down 2 sizes, but I don't think that the fabric that I'm making here is like too hard or thick. I think it's actually turning out just nice for me, so at least I hope so. We'll see when the end result comes out. My next project update is these fire pit mitts. This is a pattern that I purchased from the same podcast that I just mentioned earlier, from Wool Needles Hands, Taylor Earl, who's also Fiber for the People owner. And so I made this, so this comes in 2 lengths for the cuff. So one that goes all the way down here, and this is the shorter length. And these were really nice to knit, actually, and I really like this yarn that I knitted it with. It's I used for this West Yorkshire Spinners Croft Shetland Tweed Aran weight yarn. So this is 100% wool. It's 100 gram hank and 166 meters, and knitting with 5mm needles. And I just need to weave the ends in and then block these, and they are ready to use. I really look forward to using this. I tend to get a little bit cold wrists these days, so this is going to be a really nice length. And I'm a little bit curious, especially after blocking, how this part, because in the pattern there is no ribbing at the top here, so I'm a little curious like how much it will start curling in and how that will impact the function. But other than that, I really like these ones. They're really beautiful, and this was quite a lovely pattern to knit. I suppose my only comment about the pattern in this case would be the thumb gusset was explained in a little bit of a strange way for me, which could be because I don't speak English as my first language, and I've not been reading English language knitting patterns for that long, if I'm completely honest with you. So I just kind of ended up making the thumb gusset how I would normally make it, just adapted it a little bit for this pattern then. And I think that these are very nice. And as my final project update, I will show you Sirdar sheep hat. So this is a pattern that I purchased from my local yarn shop just before Christmas. And if you're wondering about these colors, these are the colors of Newcastle United football team, and so it is very popular around here. And there's a little bit of history behind this the pattern name Shearer the sheep. So they had this kind of like a sheep statue that was going around the shops in the little town there, and this knitting shop, Ready Steady Knit, had it in their window for a few weeks or something like this, and they decided to name the sheep Shearer because a famous, I know nothing about football, by the way. This had to be explained to me by my husband, who follows football and is a fan of the local team as well. So apparently there is a famous footballer called Alan Shearer, and that's where the name came from. So this is actually a gift. The person who sold me the Ashford spinning wheel, I kind of wanted to give them an extra thank you. So, and I know that also he likes this team, so I have made this for him. I hope the size will be right. He did mention it. So I knitted one for my husband at around Christmas, and he saw him wearing it, and then he just kind of made a comment, oh, that's really nice. He also did mention that his head is a little bit smaller, so I hope this is the right size for him. It will have a pom-pom that I will attach onto it. And for this pom-pom, I do have pom-pom makers. So I have these Clover branded pom-pom makers, and they're really nice actually. I quite enjoy using this because it makes making pom-poms so much easier. So how these work is you open it and then just thread the yarn around here in like abundance, and then on both sides, so both sides open like that, and then you close it like this, and then cut in the middle, and then put a yarn through around the pom-pom, and then you'll end up with something like this. The yarn I used for the hat is called Hayfield Soft Twist Double Knit. This is 90% acrylic, 10% merino wool. It comes in a 100-gram ball. It's 325 meters, and the recommended needle size is 4 millimeters. So this is a double knitting DK yarn, and I'll just show you quickly how it looks as a ball. So it comes in balls like this. I find this quite pleasant to knit with. It has a nice soft feel to it. I will update you on my progress with Ashford next time we speak. I should mention also that Ashford is the brand of the spinning wheel. Someone asked me about this, and apologies, I did forget to mention that in my big reveal for my new hobby. And as usual, I am not sponsored by any of the brands I'm talking about here. Please comment in the space below if this vlog has given you any thoughts, ideas, inspiration, and whether if you've knitted the Rei pattern yourself. Please make comments and let me know how that went for you and how you did it. Would you do anything differently, and any suggestions for me as well. And if you've enjoyed my vlog, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.